You're supposed to say, and we are.
And it looks like we are live.
There it is. Yeah, I was waiting on the cue, man. You were like, I'm gonna say we're live, and you never said it. Man, welcome, dude, and welcome everybody to another episode of Paranormal Nightshift. Man, this has been a fun ride. It's spooky season is finally here.
Oh, I know. It's about time. And for whichever platform you tune it into, y'all, it's finally spooky season time. It's finally October, and y'all, this weekend,
I know.
This weekend, we're going to be in Savannah, Georgia.
Dude, and I personally cannot wait. I don't think the listeners are prepared for the amount of research and studying that I have done for this Savannah trip. Now, I wanted to partner up and do a couple ghost tours, but everybody in Savannah is super busy because it is like Savannah and it's spooky season. So Andy and I are going to play our own paranormal ghost tour. I've got a couple places that I know that we're going to go. I've got some really, really creepy stories that I can't wait. The hotel we're staying at is actually across the street from this graveyard that I have a story from, which I cannot wait to see if we can go find this headstone.
This is actually my plans. I would like to actually go live on the different apps and get to interact with the audience and also tell stories.
Well, that's the big thing. And I think, that's kind of what I want to address with this show tonight, because so many people are asking us about, like, are we investigators? Are we paranormal researchers? We're storytellers.
Nope.
That's what I am.
Yeah.
I take all of your fan stories and I take them and tell them in a way that I hope is entertaining and does them justice. It's one of those things for me with the paranormal. Everybody has a story. Everybody's got a story, and a lot of people are afraid to say those stories because they don't like the ridicule. Everybody comes at it as a skeptic, or everybody will tell you something else. And for me, I don't come at it as a skeptic. I come at it as the story, because so much of this has always been generational stories about skinwalkers and wendigos and doppelgangers. It's and Bigfoots. It's all things that have been passed down from generation to generation to generation. Explain to me how every culture has stories of giants, and every culture has stories of dragons and ghosts. This was long before the interwebs. This was long before the internet, but they had these stories, and you're finding them in South Africa. You're finding them in Native American and indigenous people. You're finding them all around the world. Before there was mass communication, these people had the same stories. And that's what I absolutely find fascinating about the paranormal, is that it is one of those things that brings so many different cultures together.
That it does. Speaking of paranormal, what's the first story you got for us tonight?
Well, I love these little quick hits that I've been getting. So I want to tell you some of these that are really kind of fun. I know that we just started putting these up on the Blue app over here on Facebook. We've been putting these up, but quick hit cliffhanger stories to where you kind of get to make your own ending up are some of my favorites, because so many people will send me their fan stories, and I get novels, but then I also get ones that are paragraphs like, hey, this happened. Hey, this happened. What do I do? So let me tell you this one. And I love these quick hit stories. So as a dad, I know you've put your kids to bed several times. I do it too. It's a nighttime routine, right? Nighttime routine. You take your shower, you get your PJs on. I'm going to tell you a story. Then I'm going to check under your bed for monsters, and then we're going to sleep.
Yep.
So one night, Jeremy came home and did the nighttime ritual. Same thing. Dinner, bath time, bed, story. Nothing out of the norm, except for his son. It had always been a chore trying to get his son to go to bed because he just enjoyed hanging out with his dad. And Jeremy wasn't going to complain about it because he enjoyed hanging out with his son. In fact, one of the best parts about being a dad is just that. You have little people. But this night, Jeremy's son was acting different. He got ready for bed with no fuss, put his PJs on with no fuss, and listened to the story with no fuss. Well, do you want me to check underneath your bed for monsters? If you really want to, Daddy, you can. Jeremy almost jumped out of his skin when he looked under the bed and saw his son. Shh, there's a monster on my bed. What do you do with that? It's like, what do you do with
the
ending? Exactly. Where's the ending? I love those quick hit little stories. Like, it just is absolutely, it's absolutely crazy. Those quick hit little stories. I love them. Where's the ending of that story? What do we do next?
But y'all know what? I want to know, the audience, how would you have ended that story? Yes. I want to know whether you're listening to it on the podcast platforms or you're listening to it right here on Facebook or YouTube or TikTok, wherever you're tuning in to this show. I want to know how you would end that story.
Absolutely. And I've got another one that's the same thing.
All right.
All right. So this one came in from Penny. So Penny and her husband had just bought their dream house. Now, sure, it was dilapidated. I think I'm saying that word wrong, but it needed some work. It needed some work. So Penny and her husband decided that they were going to take down the wallpaper. They were going to repaint and just make it their house. And I don't know about you, but there's something really satisfying about peeling wallpaper. It's kind of like peeling. It's kind of like peeling off a sunburn. Like,
yep.
you set and you want to compete for the big piece. Who's going to get the big piece? And that's exactly what Penny and her husband started doing. They took their box cutters, they made their incisions, started peeling that wallpaper. But the more they peeled, the more rancid the house began to smell. The darker and rotten smell really started to take over. They started peeling so much of it, it come off in chunks, and it was thick, not like any wallpaper they had ever seen. Inch, 2-inch thick wallpaper. It was thick and, dare I say, meaty. Then they started to find names and dates written on the boards behind the wallpaper. Melissa Jones, August 24th, 1986. Scott Peterson, August 19th, 2001. Names, hundreds of them, everywhere. Penny and her husband didn't really know what to do other than search these names. They had to have meaning somewhere. That's when they came across the National Missing Persons Registry. Each name and each date correspond with another missing person. They immediately called the police because they figured they had found something. And the police came in and they escorted Penny and her husband out of the house because, well, what else were they supposed to do while they did their investigation? But Penny and her husband continued to hear the police say words like biological matter, human matter. Penny asked so many questions, but the cops would never answer her. They came out and said, What did you do with the rest of the scrapings? What, the wallpaper scrapings? Ma'am, I need to let you know that's not wallpaper.
Whoa. Yep. No. On a personal, the house was done. Like I never go back into it again. knowing that, mm-mm, no,
Yeah.
no.
See, but that's the thing, like, and it brings up another topic that I've talked about before is, hmm, do you feel like you should like your realtor should have to report any paranormal reports in the house?
I believe they should,
Well, I know
because
that. Go ahead.
for m- for me, depending on the location, if you have paranormal activity in your house, that could either increase the value or decrease the value of the said house, like just depending on its location.
Absolutely.
So it's like if you're in like where we're going to this weekend, if you're in Savannah and you've had paranormal activity in your house, your home value just went up.
Well, exactly. There's some people who want the haunted house. Let me ask you this one, and this is one more that I really absolutely adore, and it's a quick hit story, and it's again, these stories are fan submitted stories. They're just sent to us, and this one is going to leave you hanging again. I'll go ahead and let you know, but it's a very quick story. I waved to him, and he didn't even smile. I smiled at him, and he didn't even wave. I talked to him, but he acted like he couldn't hear me. There's got to be something wrong with this mirror. I know, right?
There's so many things missing out of that story, but that's creepy.
There's so many things missing out of that story, but if you guys go and check out the Paranormal Night Shift podcast, you can listen to the latest. I think one of the latest episodes is about the mirror and how mirrors are portals. And,
Yeah.
and I know you've had some of these amazing reaction videos that fans have sent in to us of
Mhm.
paranormal videos with
Oh, yeah.
mirrors and with mirrors and portals. And the more we look into these, I'm digging these quick little hit stories, and I love all of the big long fan stories. The podcast has been absolutely out of this world, and I really hope, tell us in the comments, I really hope you guys are enjoying checking out these stories. I'm asking that you guys continue to send them to us. I've looked so many different places trying to find stories, and I feel like our stories really are the ones that are out, like, they're the best. They're your stories, guys, and that's what makes it
Yes.
so genuine.
Oh, yeah. And from what I'm actually seeing, like right here on Paranormal Night Shift, like y'all, this show or podcast is like it's grown like crazy. And in fact, right now over here on Facebook, we've hit over 500,000 followers right here on Facebook. On YouTube, we just breached 7,000 followers or subscribers. Like,
Absolutely.
and this brand is got launched in July.
Exactly. And for those of you guys who are over on Facebook wondering who these guys are, my name is Graeson Mcgaha, and this here is Andy Airz, and we have been doing social media for a couple years,
Yeah.
and it really started for me as a night shift employee who started seeing some stuff and making some silly videos on old TikTok about night shift and how crazy night shift was. We all know there are things that go bump in the night after 3 a.m.
Oh yeah.
And Andy continued to send me all sorts of crazy fun videos, and I'm like, "Hey man, I think together this can be something fun."
Oh
Because
yeah.
it all, the stories of Sasquatch and Wendigos, and so many people have so many different stories, and I absolutely love getting them from you guys, and I can't wait to see what Savannah holds, because
Oh, I know.
I'm
And
telling you guys.
also, and also a complete another side note. So even though like y'all, we have like right now to date, I believe we have close to what was it, close to 600 stories already submitted.
Yeah, something
And
like
here's
that.
the thing. great. Like, I'm now beginning to also tell the stories, but here's something else that is completely amazing. We have actually started up an email list to
Mm-hmm.
where you can get daily stories, and these are fan submitted stories straight to your inbox. Now, some of the stories that you get to your email, and yes, you will be getting it daily, but some of the stories you may have already heard on the podcast, but a lot of these stories and the bulk of them you've never even heard before. At least us tell them.
Exactly. And they're, and that's the thing. I absolutely like, I love all the support you guys have given us. And I see the comments. Please understand, we see the comments. Look, I would love to be able to put full videos out here on Facebook. I see them. I understand. And I understand that it drives you guys absolutely nuts. Believe me, it drives me nuts having to put up 5 or 6 different parts to a story that and having to come in halfway through. I get it, but you guys can always find the stories on the podcast. You find the stories up on YouTube. You can find them everywhere. Everywhere
Oh, yeah.
that you all you have to do is search Paranormal Night Shift, and that beautiful logo that's on that fancy t-shirt that
Oh,
Andy
yeah.
has over there will be the one that pops up, and you find Bigfoot being abducted by aliens, and you know you're in the right place.
Oh, yeah. Well, and here's the thing, and this is the one thing that a handful of people have already kind of noticed. Our So the podcast is multiple episodes ahead of everywhere else. Like, I believe the podcast is close to, I believe it's like 10 episodes ahead of YouTube, 12 episodes ahead of Facebook. And like, it just, everything goes to the podcast first. Because with us, we want y'all to be able to listen to the stories and be able to tune into them, like on your way to work or on your way home from work, or just kind of just relax. Some people use the stories just to relax. You can put it on Spotify and just hit play, or an Apple podcast. Cause y'all, when it comes to the podcast platforms, we're everywhere. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Radio Public, and we're finally on Pandora. We're on Deezer. Like, we are everywhere whenever it comes to Paranormal Night Shift on the podcast platforms. We did not
Yeah.
hold back.
And I love that, we have Debbie in here asking for more videos and everything like that. They are all coming. I
Yes.
promise you that. With spooky season being in full force,
Y'all are
we
getting more.
y'all are getting plenty of videos.
Yep.
And some of the things that, some of the things I really want to start messing with and seeing what you guys think. Like, we had another podcast reach out to us to try to do some stuff on Friday the 13th that I'm excited for.
Mhm.
So some of that's available, and I'm going to be excited to do that. They're
Yep.
into conspiracy theories, and I just want to know, like, is our audience interested in a conspiracy theory? Conspiracy theories. Do you guys want me to throw some of these out here, or do you guys want to do more cryptid stuff? Do you guys like the Wendigo stories? I want to know what you guys are interested in, because those are the stories I want to tell. I absolutely,
Absolutely.
I absolutely love doing these stories, but I want to make sure that I'm telling ones that you guys want to hear. Last week, everybody wanted to hear hospital spirits. That is what was sent to us. Yep,
Yep.
that was what was sent to us, was a whole bunch of hospital spirits, and they were really, the paranormal doesn't always have to be scary. It doesn't always have to be anything like that. It just is the unexplained. If you guys are interested in UFOs and things like that, let me know. Send us the messages, comment on the videos, tell us what you guys are interested in, and those will be the more stories that you do. Old houses, haunted houses, things like that. I've got tons of haunted house stuff, and everything that we're going to do in Savannah is going to be haunted history. A
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
these ghost stories down in Savannah are 100-year-old ghost stories, and then encounter stories with the spirits.
Ooh, this is gonna be good.
So the stuff that I have for Savannah, definitely make sure you're checking in. Sign up for the email list. Sign up for the podcast so that you don't miss anything. like, share, and subscribe these videos, or
Oh, yeah.
subscribe to these videos, so that you guys will get the notifications from us.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, like if you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification button, because we are now over on YouTube dropping 2 episodes a day. Same thing with all the podcast platforms. We are now uploading and releasing 2 episodes a day over on the podcast platforms. And yes, Gary is asking, do we ever do Bigfoot stories? Yes. Make sure. So here's the thing. Make sure you're also subscribed to the email list. And I know some of y'all are like, oh, you keep talking about the email list. Go to paranormalnightshift.com. You can go there, sign up to be on the email list. You get daily emails. We have several fan submitted Bigfoot stories running through the email list. It is an auto sequence. So whatever time you sign up for it, be prepared. About 24 hours later, you're going to get another email. Like it's a daily thing. And make sure you look out for it, because in the titles, I tell you who it's submitted by. And whenever it comes to these stories, like that's exactly what it is. They are stories.
They are. And that's really, truthfully, for me, that's the best part about it, is they're fan submitted stories. We come at it not as a skeptic, not as somebody who's saying you're wrong or you're right or this doesn't exist. Just the story. It's
Yep.
really the part that is the coolest part for me. And I love that you guys have been digging it so much, and I can't wait to do some more. So next week, just so you guys know, next week we are deep diving into alien abductions. I've got
a couple of those in the email sequence as well already.
I have got some alien abduction stories that will completely freak you out. Yes, Ray, we have tons of poltergeist stories, but alien abduction stories is what we are diving into next week. And go ahead and please, I mean, thank you guys for all the support. We greatly appreciate all of them.
Oh, yeah.
But Andy, I mean, it's about that time. We're gonna go play the make them laugh game here in a couple minutes over on Relarious. So all of our fans who are out here hanging out with us on Paranormal Night Shift, you guys want to laugh a little bit? Well, come and hang out with us over on Relarious. That's our Wednesday night show that we do. A lot more lighthearted than the paranormal stuff, and a lot more just goofy. And all of our friends here on the old TikTok, we are going to take about a 15-minute break and then jump on and do it again. But man, I hope you guys are having a wonderful night. Thank you guys for hanging out with us and doing spooky season.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, tell them where they can find that fancy shirt.
Oh, yeah. You can just go to paranormalnightshift.com. And for one, you can do multiple things on that page. There's a lot of things. For one, you can support the show by being able to listen to the podcast itself 100% ad free. You can support the show right there on the page. I have a link directing you straight over to how to subscribe to it. You can also sign up for the email list. And there's also a beautiful little button that says Paranormal Night Shift merch. You can go there, get the official Paranormal Night Shift t-shirts, all that fun stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And guys over here, thank you guys so much. We're trying to keep it spooky and have fun with some cryptid stories and everything like that. I worked. All right. I need y'all's input on this. So I've worked on like 3 sign-offs. Okay. Because y'all told me last week I didn't have a sign-off. So let hold on one second. Stay spooky. No.
I'm gonna stick to my usual.
Stay spooky. No. I
hey,
understand.
You know what? I got it. You say that, then I'll finish up with mine.
Okay, I'm ready. All right. Thank you guys for all of your support again. We absolutely love it. Stay spooky, guys.
And all of y'all have a great night.
Boom. I'll take that.
Hey, that's it. But by the way, y'all have yourselves a great night, and make sure y'all are stay tuned for this weekend, because we will be going live here on Paranormal Night Shift multiple times throughout the weekend, especially since we are in Savannah. And also be prepared for all the reels and the shorts and all that fun stuff, because it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, going to do your sign off real quick.
Stay spooky.
And y'all have a good night. Yeah. Oh, man. Oh, man.